Hi guys, this is Andrew and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be working with Justin again, and Edgar's here too. We are going to be working on the R32 as always, and we are going to be test fitting today the bumper that we have, and we're also going to be test fitting the diffuser that we have been making. So we're gonna first start off with this episode test fitting the diffuser. Once we have that test fitted on the car and everything like that, we're gonna go ahead then make sure everything is squared up on that, and we're gonna go ahead and start the actual process of making the mold. So I wanted to bring you guys along on that for today's episode. How do you think it looks, Justin, so far?
It looks pretty good. I think
See?
we're gonna be all right.
Yeah, okay. We'll have to see how it goes. Edgar, what do you think?
So far so good.
Yeah, okay, so we'll see. Let's get the R32 aired up, and let's get the rear of this car all pulled apart so we can test fit this out. Woo! Okay, good, she's alive. At least that battery's actually holding a charge now. All right, let's get that rear ripped apart. Alright guys, we're back inside. As you can see from the video, you can see that the mold fit and cleared the exhaust on the R32, so that is good. Now me and Justin are basically preparing the surface here with a wax, and this wax should prevent what we're going to be using on the gel coat to actually stick to the mold. Hopefully that will work. We also have some cardboard around the outside here as like a flange. We don't think this is gonna 100% work with the wax, but we're gonna give it a shot and see if that will give us a flange that we could actually pull the mold out of. Hey, we gotta try to see if it works out. If it doesn't, well, it was worth a shot. So we're gonna go ahead now, put this wax on this actual mold. Once this is on, then we're gonna go ahead, like I mentioned, grab that gel coat, and they're gonna put that gel coat on and let it sit. I believe it's for like 24 hours to harden. And once that's hardened, then we're gonna come back and then apply all of the fiberglass on this for the final step of the mold. So let's go ahead, throw you guys on a time lapse so you guys can see us actually applying the wax and applying the epoxy on here. I'll give you guys an update after we're done with the epoxy, or not the epoxy, the gel coat I should say, so you guys can actually see what it looks like. Alright guys, so now we're going to go ahead and start measuring up all the resin. Justin and me kind of went ahead and did some math to figure out what the ratio was. What's the ratio, Justin? It was 4/6 of an ounce of hardener to 1 pound of resin. So basically that's the ratio we're going to mix with. Basically in total that means we're going to measure everything in ounces. That's going to be 16.66666 ounces of total resin combination together. And we have our scale right here that we are going to be using.
That did not come with batteries.
Oh, did not come with batteries, so that's great. So I'm going to go get some batteries for it. But, fun story, I bought a weed scale and I didn't even realize it was a weed scale. So, oh well. But, let's go ahead, we'll get you guys on the camera here, and Edgar will take over doing some camera work. So, let's go ahead, guys. Alright guys, it has been 24 hours of letting this gel coat actually harden and cure. If you can hear, this is really hard, so that is good. This is going to be good for years to come for this mold, keeping it nice and stiff and hard. We ended up putting 3 gel coat layers on here. The first layer we did, as you guys saw, it was 1 pound of this resin. I think it was 0.66 ounces of hardener. That was way too much for the first coat because we put it all on and we still had so much left that it didn't really work out that well for us. So the second layer that we put on, I did half of that, so half a pound, and I did then 0.33 ounces of resin, put that on, worked perfect amount of ratio, got it on, no issues. And then I did the exact same thing for the last to finish off basically this 2 gallon or 2 pound. Yeah, this was 2 pounds. Yeah, 2 pounds worth of gel coat. So that basically is how I laid it down. Did 3 layers. I wish we did 4 layers, and that first layer I only did a half a pound instead of a pound, but nothing you can do. I gotta just roll with it. You're supposed to have this as thick as 20 to 25 millimeters. That is really thick. This is not 20 to 25 millimeters, but it should work for what we're doing, especially laying over on top. The fiberglass should stiffen it up and keep it stiff, like I mentioned, for years to come. So the next step we need to do is, like I said, we gotta add the chop mat. So we're gonna be adding this chop mat down on this and pouring the resin on it, getting that down. We're probably gonna do 3 layers of that also as like a safety net, just to make sure everything stays hard and secure. Don't need to wax this layer because we want this to pull off with that fiberglass layer, or with the fiberglass layer. So let's go ahead, get this started. I'm gonna come back and tell you guys what the actual ratios we need to do for the resin for the fiberglass. I'm not entirely sure yet because I haven't looked at it, but once I look at it, I'll get back to you guys with an update on what you guys need to do to put the resin and the chop mat and everything down on top of this tooling coat. Okay guys, we are back with an update. As you can see, we have now laid actually about 4 layers of chop fiberglass down onto the actual tooling gel coat. So that's down right now. I think it looks pretty good. It's really difficult to do that tooling gel because we spread it on with paint brushes. It leaves some bubbles and ripples and stuff like that in the actual top surface. So as you can see in here, you can probably get a little closer. There are a few, or I'd say a good amount of air bubbles within here. I did as best I can to try to really push those out. It's not the easiest thing, so we're gonna just hope for the best at this point. Hope that this all cures and it is hardened and it will actually work. Once this is cured, we have 24 hours for this to cure. We are then gonna go ahead, pull this whole thing off, including that tooling gel, and that's gonna be what we use for the mold. So let's pray and hope that this works, because I really don't want to go through this whole thing and obviously it doesn't work. So let's see how that goes. Just so you guys know, the resin that we used, this is the resin right here. Pretty good stuff. It's from Fiberglass, and I really like the product. It's really easy to use. The hardener is really easy to add. Like I mentioned, it's a little bit tricky to figure out how much hardener to add, just because on the back of it doesn't really say like a specific amount of ounces to put in per, hardener per how many ounces you put in. It's more about, just a ratio. So you got to figure it out that way, which doing some math, you could figure it out. So I just wanted to give you guys that update. Everything was looking good so far, and I'll catch up with you guys once this is all dried. Okay guys, we are back, and it has now been 24 hours since this mold over here has started to dry. So now this is all good, all set, and we should be able to go ahead and start pulling out the mold and getting an actual feature that we can use to make our rear diffuser. As you can see, rock hard, really nice. And I like how this came out. The bad part that we have, flip this over, this is stuck in here. I've already started to remove some of it over here, and it has been a real pain. We have to cut all of this stuff out and basically use chisels to get this surface back to something we can actually use. You can see if you go in really close here, this gray stuff is that primer we put on top of the, of the Bondo, and it is getting stuck in there. So we are gonna have to really just go ahead and get as much of that off as we possibly can. through sanding most likely. And once that's all out and we have chopped everything out here, this mold will be ready to go and use for our rear diffuser. The one thing that I am going to change up though, we're no longer just gonna lay the carbon fiber in here and then lay that out and make it all that way. I've come to the conclusion that basically doing that, it's gonna be super, super hard to get carbon fiber in here going in one direction. So what we're gonna do instead is we're gonna do another fiberglass version. Just basically take this mold, lay fiberglass in there, put the epoxy in there, let that settle, then pop that out. Once that's out, hopefully that'll come out easier, which it should. Then we're gonna go ahead and skin that in carbon fiber, and skinning it will get that carbon fiber look. We'll get the strength and rigidity then from the fiberglass, and well, you know, carbon fiber is stronger than fiberglass, so that part doesn't really make sense. But we'll be able to actually mold the fiberglass or the carbon fiber onto that fiberglass way easier, and it'll just give us more areas to actually make sure everything is straight on the car and looks good. So let's go ahead, throw you guys on a time lapse. You guys can actually watch me take this stuff out. You're gonna see how hard it is and how much of a nuisance it is. So let's go ahead and let's jump into this. Okay guys, after about 3 hours of working on this mold, you can see from right down here, the mold is finally out. You can see from the front, this is what you guys were seeing before, but now everything is out on the rear, and you can see it's pretty smooth back here. We need to basically sand off this primer that is stuck on here, but once that's basically sanded off, this should be ready to go for our first attempt at making a carbon fiber rear diffuser. So I'm gonna just go ahead and start sanding some of these primer spots off of this, and I'll get back to you guys with another update once these primer spots are done. Alright guys, so I have spent the last couple days just sanding down this whole entire rear diffuser mold. You can see now how it actually looks, and there's really no more primer spots on here. There are a few around the exhaust here, but there overall isn't that many spots. The one thing that I have to do, I actually have Justin over here. He's here helping out. We're gonna have to go ahead and fill in some cracks that have appeared in that gel coating. So it might be hard to see here, but let's see if you can see it. You can't really see it. There are some spots in the gel coat basically that have chipped away due to the fiberglass not pushing up against it, or just the gel coat being super thin there. And when I was going in there and trying to chisel out the the primer, it basically chipped away that gel coat. So I got some extra gel coat. Me and Justin are gonna go ahead and pour some gel coat in there, let it sit and let it harden. And hopefully that will work, because we do not want to go ahead and put fiberglass in here, put the resin in there, because it will get stuck in this mold. So we want to make sure these are covered up. So we're going to go ahead, throw you guys on a time lapse, and we're going to go ahead and patch up some of these marks. Okay guys, we are back, and we have finally let this cure for another 24 hours. All of this gel coat that me and Justin poured in here and all the cracks and everything like that, it is now settled and it looks great. I went ahead and sanded a little bit of it down, for example, down on this lower area here, just to kind of smooth it out and everything like that. But the good part is, all the cracks that were in these areas here are all filled now, so there's no more cracks in here. Also, this is now completely smooth down here. There's no cracks in here either, and up and around here. It's a little bit rough, I would say, just because obviously we're pouring now a liquid in there and we're brushing it on, so there's gonna be some brush marks and little things like that. But since we're going ahead and we're gonna be doing a fiberglass version of the mold and then doing the carbon fiber version, I'm fine with having a rougher version of it. Just means we're gonna have to do a little bit of sanding on that fiberglass and things like that. So this is the final mold piece that we will be pulling from. I hope so far you guys have been enjoying this content on making this rear diffuser for the R32. I really have enjoyed this. It's definitely taking a lot longer than I expected, but I think the final product that we're gonna be putting out by doing all these steps is gonna look way better than if we just rushed through this whole process. So if you guys are enjoying these content, go down below, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Just lets me know that you guys are enjoying these videos, and maybe we'll do another project, something similar to this, doing some other carbon fiber work, because I have a lot of ideas on some carbon fiber work we can be doing on the R32. So we're gonna end the episode for tonight. The next episode, we are gonna be going ahead and making the fiberglass mold and then skinning the carbon fiber in that episode. So definitely come back for that episode. I think you guys will definitely enjoy that episode. Until next time, guys, my name's Andrew, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.